One thing that is absolutely crucial for successful software development, if you ask me, is fast feedback. And one way to get fast feedback is using prototypes. But many companies are afraid of investing in prototypes because it's basically throwaway code. I really like prototypes. You don't pay for the code, you pay for the feedback. You pay for the fact that you know early when you're building the wrong thing. So you can prevent it, right? Now, what happens when you combine event modeling with prototyping? You get something like RTP, the real-time prototyping, because event modeling goes into the details and you can use it to build prototypes on the fly. I have built this into my Miro plugin, into the Accelerate toolkit. We have this RTP, real-time prototyping, integrated here. And what we will do now is we will use an event model we built a few weeks ago in a webinar called Event Model Your Domain. In this webinar, some participants brought in topics. We dot voted on the topics, and we decided for one topic, and we had two subject matter experts in the webinar, and we started to event model the whole system and understand the domain. Now, what happens is, basically, it was about a company registration. So you could apply for a company registration, providing some basic information. The data gets stored in the system. Then we have this automation here that generates a PDF. And then the user who submitted the registration could download the PDF just as a confirmation of the whole process. What happens if we just start this whole thing in a prototype? Now, since we model it using event modeling, we can just select it here and say, run the prototype here. Now we are in our prototype. This is basically generated on the fly from the event model. And what we see here is we have two screens here, the registrations screen and the start screen. Registrations screen and start screen, they are both in our event model. So they are basically coming directly from the modeled screens in our event model. Now we can just go for here. We have our button, register company. We can adjust the text on this button. So for example, we could say, use this button here, and we say register, apply company registration. We just changed the button, apply company registration. I want to show you how the prototype is generated on the fly. I just say create config, and hopefully we'll see the button adjusts automatically, which is pretty amazing. We can now just issue the command here, just providing some sample configuration. City is Munich, company name is Nebulit, director is me. I uploaded my document image, passport.png, for example, just providing some demo data, nothing important. Now I submit this information. And what we now see is we are using in-browser event sourcing. So this is basically using event sourcing directly in the browser. What we have here is now we have our workflow aggregate, and we can look at the event in our system. So we stored our event here, the company registration application examination started event. This mimics exactly this event down here. Now, what happens is we can look at the registration here. So this is the information provided, and we can also adjust this if we want. So it's possible to adjust how this projection works. So for example, we could say, for this projection here, we do not want to provide all the information, but just the city and the company name, for example. We could just provide an adjustment here and return data.city and data. Company name. Now, if we store this and we update the configuration, it should adjust automatically. Now we have the city and the company name that gets displayed. So it's really adjustable. Now, again, back to our configuration. Let's revert this again. We don't need this, and update it, and hopefully we get our data back. Does it work? Did I hit the button correctly? Yes. Here's our data. And now if we look at the event model, the next thing that happens is when we start this information, we have this automation that generates the PDF. Looking at the automation here, it's here. We can trigger the automation. It gets already pre-filled with the data from the event. So we have the aggregate ID, which is the same as the aggregate ID here in our event store. And we can just say now we generated the PDF. Let's say it's the report.pdf. We submit it. Then you see, since this event is now processed, the button for the automation disappears until we have the next registration. So the prototype works exactly as the application should work. And if we look at the registration page now that we have our registration and PDF processed, we also get the download link for the PDF. So what you can do with this is really amazing. You can play around with the application as you plan it, and you can get a feeling for it. And the great thing is you can also adjust the styling here. So for example, if you want to have a gray background because your company color is gray, you can just provide a CSS to configure how it should look like. Background color is light gray, for example. If we save this and we adjust the prototype again, like this, we should get, if I refresh this, a gray background. And you can adjust the whole prototype so it looks like your prototype. This is pretty amazing, and this allows you to generate all these prototypes basically with one click. It's very, very simple, very, very fast, and it allows you to play around with the system. If you want to know more about this, feel free to contact me. You can use this tooling in our Accelerate program. This is the perfect program to speed up and accelerate your whole development process. Just contact me. I'm happy to help. See you next time.